I am officially 2 months post-op and I want to show you how I tape my nose up every single night. Now, there are some days where I wear my tape on my nose for like 2 days at a time, but when I take it off, I obviously have to re-tape it before I go to bed. Every surgeon is different, so if you are being advised to tape your nose, just make sure you're listening to exactly how your surgeon wants you to tape your nose because the way I tape my nose might not be the same way that you're supposed to tape your nose. If you're even able to tape, some surgeons don't even want their patients taping. Not too sure why, just make sure you're listening to his orders. So for me, one of the most frustrating things is that I don't always get it right the first time around, and I end up wasting a bunch of tape, but I would rather go through a bunch of tape and do it right than not be sure the first time I do it, if that makes sense. So for me, I always start with the first piece of tape wrapping around my tip, lifting it up, and then the sides kind of going out / on the sides of my bridge. Also, you'll want to close these little gaps. My nails are too long to do it with my fingers, so I just use tweezers and I close those gaps and then close any other gaps along the tape. Next up, I start taping the bridge of my nose. For me, it's 3 pieces of tape. For others, it can be 4, it can be 2. Again, it's just different for everyone. These pieces are obviously going to be a little bit shorter than that piece that wrapped around the tip of my nose and lifted it. And you just want to make sure that it's centered. And when you are doing this, you want to make sure that you're applying pressure. Also, I think it's important to know that when you start doing the other pieces of tape, they are going to overlap each other slightly. And if you see that your skin is looking a little bulgy, it just means you're really swollen, and that is totally fine and it doesn't affect your result at all. The last piece of tape is usually the shortest piece because it's closest to my eyes, and I don't want the little pieces going into the corners of my eyes because this has happened before and it's not very comfortable. After I get that last little piece, again, we're applying pressure. This is the first layer. My surgeon has me doing 2 layers total, so we'll start all over from the top. And by the top, I mean just the beginning, which is me wrapping that first piece around my tip, lifting it up, and then making sure the sides of the tape go kind of on the sides of my bridge / kind of outwards a little bit. Again, after we wrap that front piece, we want to close the gaps using tweezers. If you can use your fingers, that's totally fine too. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you close them. And then nothing really changes here. We're just repeating all of the steps so that we have 2 layers of tape total for every single piece. So for me, I am taping every single night for the next 3 months, but honestly, I'll probably tape a little bit longer because I do have thick skin. So thick skin can take longer for that swelling to go down. I've had some girls say to me that their surgeon didn't recommend taping and they're really tempted to tape. And my advice to you would be, if your doctor is saying don't tape, then do not tape your nose because your doctor, your surgeon, they're going to know your nose better than anyone else. I hope this was helpful to you. And if you're not already following me, hit the follow button so you can stay on this nose job journey with me.